man, there's like a classic nostalgic view that you get when you pull up to Foxwoods coming down Route 2. That construction of the Great Wolf Lodge just completely blocks the view. It's kind of different to see the progress that's been made and this area changing so much. So we are at Foxwoods today. I know I said I was going to play a Mohegan Sun tournament on Friday, but yesterday I was just not feeling it. I had some anxiety. I talked earlier in the first vlog about knowing what the best decision for yourself is, and I knew I wasn't in the right state to play poker. In YOLO, half of our bankroll in a poker tournament when I wasn't really feeling up to it. So we're here at Foxwoods today. I got $65 in free play, and then I figure I'm going to take 120 out of the bankroll and hop into a cash game. Either going to be 2-4 or 4-8 limit hold'em, maybe 1-5 stud, maybe 5-10 stud, depending. We'll see. I'm not complaining no limit with such a small buying amount, so we'll see what the lists are like, and then we'll hop in with the slot play. If there's any good bonuses or anything, or any good line hits, I'll cut to that. Of course, I get in the casino and I realize I left my player's card in the garage, but too lazy to walk back up. I'll have to reprint it. Promising start. There we go. Man, we got this gold heads really quick, but I can't seem to get that 7th one. Come on, head. Coin head. Coins and heads. Blocked by the coin. There it is. Ooh, 3 of them. Goodbye, Cougars. Coin! Yes! Yes! Nice, nice, nice. Come on. 3 more to get rid of those Timberwolves. There's 24 spins in and we haven't gotten any line hits. Curse of the 4 coins is continuing here. Yowza. Goodbye, Eagles. This is brutal. Such a waste of spins. No re-triggers this time. Last spin. Save me. That's a no. If my math is correct, we should be able to cash in at about 60 bucks. Yep. All right. Let's go play some cards.
Really? But you just what?
All right, I played about 5 hands of 5-10 stud before they got called for the 4-8 game, and I lost about $60. I had aces the very first hand, and then I'm having to fold by the river. And then I had 9s and 4s at one point and folded on like 4th Street, so nothing too exciting. I just topped off for another $60 on top, so I'm going to be in for $160 total going into the 4-8. I'm going to have a $100 stack on the 4-8.
What is your initial?
A DS.
DS.
All right, so got out of that game for went in for 103, cashed out for 46, so a $57 loss on that one. Played for about an hour and a half, wasn't really catching anything, and well, I shouldn't say that. I did have a set. I'll talk about that hand, and I had a straight. a couple of hands where I took some pretty bad beats, but I did win with the set and the straight, but very small pots comparatively to the pots I lost where I took some bad beats. So I will talk about those when I get home in the editing room. Alright, so here I am in the lab, and we're going to talk about some hands. So let's break down 3 of the hands I played in this 4-8 Limit Hold'em cash game. I know Limit Hold'em is not the most exciting game there is, but when you are low on a bankroll and you're trying to play conservative, Limit Hold'em is probably the way to go. So, very first hand I sit down and was pretty much a hint. It was a very foreshadowing of things to come in this very quick hour-and-a-half or so session that I played. Very first hand, I'm in the big blind, so right away it was a brand new table, so I lose the flip for the button, and I am in the big blind. I pick up Ace-9 of hearts, and it folds to the small blind, who raises $8. It's a 4-8, so the blinds are $2 and $4. The limit raise is $4 at a time pre-flop. So the small blind raises to 8. I make the call, put $16 in the pot. The flop is 3 deuce 9 rainbow. So pretty good flop for the Ace-9 of hearts. The small blind bets out $4 and I call. The turn is 3 of clubs, so now we have a 3-2-9-3 board, and the small blind checks. So now I'm starting to think that maybe my Ace-9 could be good. Maybe he was maybe he had a hand like Ace-Queen, Ace-King, missed the flop, tried to just take it down there, and it didn't work. So I bet out 8, and then the small blind re-raises to 16. And, generally speaking, when you have pairs in limit poker, especially when you flop top pair and then going into the turn, you still have the top pair, even if the, like one of the lower cards on the board pairs, you still want to be fairly aggressive with it. So I don't mind the raise I made there, and then I end up just calling his re-raise. A little concerned that maybe he has, a hand like Ace-3 or something and picked up the trip 3s, but you have top pair with the top kicker, you got to go with it. So the river is a jack of hearts, which seemingly is meaningless, I would think. The small blind bets out $8, of course, because that's the limit, and I make the call, expecting to see a hand Ace-3 a lot of the time, and he turns over Queen Jack offsuit. So he was really aggressive with draw, no pair, and somehow spiked the jack on the river. Takes down about a he takes down about a $72 pot, and right away, hand 1, I lose almost $40 in the first hand. So from there, things only got worse. A couple rounds later, I pick up 2 red 10s. I'm under the gun. Of course, I open to $8, and I get calls from the big blind and the small blind. This big blind is the same person that was the villain in the previous hand. The flop is really, really good for my hand. It comes 10 of spades, 7 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds. So all things considered, very good. Both players check. I bet out $4. The small blind folds, and the big blind calls. So with about $36 in the pot, the turn is the 8 of spades. Now the board's a little bit more connected. We got 2 flush draws out there, and when the small blind checks, I still feel I have to bet my set here. You never know. The board could pair. He could be calling with any number of hands. So I make the raise, and he calls. Then we go to a river, which is, of course, not just brings in the flush draw, but brings in the 4-liner of the straight, the 9 of diamonds. So that gives us the 10, 7, 8, 9, 3, 3 diamond board. And the small blind just leads out for $8. I know that I'm pretty much always beat here, but I've already got all this money invested, and I'm getting 8 to 1 on a call. So I make the call, knowing fairly often I'm gonna lose this $8. And of course, the small blind turns over a straight, although he turns over the small end of the straight, the ace-6 offsuit. So lucky to get there. But it wasn't all dreary, miserable. There was one fairly decent pot I was able to scoop up later on in the session, right before I decided to quit. I'm on the button, and I have pocket twos. There is a limp from under the gun +2, and I raise to $8. The small blind, big blind, and the under the gun limper all call. The flop comes a very, very, very beautiful 5, 2, 8. So I flop a nice, beautiful set of twos, which is about as good as you can hope for. There are 3 checks to me. I bet $4. The small blind calls, big blind folds, and under the gun +2 calls. The turn is an ace of diamonds. Both players check to me. I bet 8. The small blind calls, and under the gun +2 folds. So our board reads 5, 2, 8, ace, rainbow. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm fairly certain this player doesn't have a straight here, although he could very possibly have a straight draw. But when the river comes in offsuit 3, we now once again have a 4-liner to the straight on the board, and I am once again sitting with a set. However, I'm not overly concerned about the straight, especially when the 3 hits and the under the gun +2 player that had just folded when the ace came slams the table in disgust. So I'm fairly confident that she had the 4 in her hand that would have made the straight. So I can feel pretty comfortable if the small blind checks to me. I can feel comfortable raising, which he does check. I make the raise, knowing full well, you know, he's probably not afraid of the straight either. He's probably thinking I might have a weak ace, or maybe I got a weak pair that I was trying to play, and if he's got an ace, I can get value. And of course, he does call, showing an ace-jack, thinking he's good, and I turn over my 3 twos. So that was one decent-sized pot I was able to scoop down. However, as I mentioned at Foxwoods, overall in the session I did end up losing. And unfortunately, it brought our bankroll down to $258, I think is where we stand now. After when you factor in the 2 losses from the 5-10 and the 4-8 cash games. So heading into next week, in next week's vlogs, I have a very special vlog planned because we'll be coming up on Caitlin and I's 18th wedding anniversary. So we're gonna vlog the very fancy dinner I'm taking her out to, and then she asked if we could go to the casino, and I have another casino another New England casino I'll be introducing you to, where I have quite a bit of free slot play there that we're gonna go and have some fun with. So stay tuned for the next vlog, because that one's gonna be a good one. Until next time, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll put the final bankroll totals up at the end of this video. I hope everyone has a great week.